top cop calls it quits. Japhet Koome resigns as the country's Inspector General of the National Police a day after President Ruto dissolved the cabinet.
The entire Digital Health Act 2023 and the entire Primary Health Act 2023 are all unconstitutional for the reasons set out in this judgment and therefore invalid, null and void.
It's illegal. A 3-judge High Court bench declares as unconstitutional, null and void the Social Health Insurance Fund. And JKUAT students hold protests over the killing of a comrade Denzel Omondi, who went missing after the chaotic Gen Z demonstrations. Good evening, I'm Regina Manyara, and my colleague in sign language is none other than Anne Wangeshe. Thank you for watching. You can also participate in this particular show or program if you like on our various social media platforms, including X. Tell us where you're watching this broadcast from. Now, Inspector General of the National Police Service, Japhet Koome, has resigned. His resignation comes in the wake of mounting public pressure that held him culpable for police brutality that was characterized by abductions, injuries and killings when dealing with the Anti-Finance Bill 2024 protesters.
President William Ruto has accepted the resignation of the Inspector General of the National Police Service, Japhet Koome, and designated Deputy Inspector General Douglas Kanja to take over in acting capacity as the Inspector General pending nomination, parliamentary approval and appointment. Koome's resignation follows intense criticism from the public and civil societies over police brutality in quelling the Anti-Finance Bill 2024 protests, during which several people were abducted, injured or killed.
And we are demanding from the head of state that his promise that there will be no extrajudicial killings in his tenure, in his reign, that he may hold truth to that.
The Independent Policing Oversight Authority released a statement Friday indicating 8 missing persons have since been found alive with allegations of harassment and torture, who include Austin Omondi, Gabriel Oguda, John Frank, Dre Mwangi, Shadrack Kiprono, Osama Otero, Leslie Muturi and Joshua Okayo. One person, Joseph Mwangi, is still missing. One victim, Denzel Omondi, has been found dead, and 3 persons from Isiolo, Mokhtar Tachi Ali, Nura Abdi Diba, and Isa Osman's cases are still under investigations.
The number of killings that we are investigating are 49 by now. Disappearances, they keep changing from now and then because others are being abducted, others are being returned, but the numbers that we have presently that we are following up on are 17. The number of injured is quite high. We are looking at, I think, over 400 different cases in different hospitals across the country, and of course arrests. Arrests are over 600 since the protests began, and a few are still being held in different cells across the country.
Serafina Robi for Easy Friday.
Patrick Mweti Arandu has been appointed the Commissioner General of Prisons, taking over from retired Brigadier John Warioba, who is proceeding on terminal leave pending the end of his tenure of office. In major changes made by President William Ruto that affected top leadership in the police service, Eliud Lagat was appointed the Acting Deputy Inspector General of the Kenya Police Service, and James Kamau takes over as Acting Deputy Inspector General of the Administration of Police Service.
Just a day after dissolving his cabinet, President William Ruto has undertaken major changes in the top leadership of the National Police Service and Kenya Prison Service. Patrick Mwiti Arandu takes over as the Commissioner General of Prisons, replacing Brigadier retired John Warioba, who is proceeding on terminal leave pending the end of his tenure in office. GSU Commandant Eliud Lagat has been appointed as Acting Deputy Inspector General of the Kenya Police Service, and James Kamau takes over as Acting Deputy Inspector General of the Administration Police Service. The Deputy Inspector General of the Administration Police Service, Nur Gabo, who currently leads the Kenya UN Special Forces in the troubled Caribbean nation of Haiti, has been redeployed to the public service. The President, with consultations of the National Police Service Commission, has also appointed Ranson Lalmudoni as Commandant General Service Unit, Gilbert Masengelni, Commandant Administration Police Training College, Embakasi, William Yempoi, Director of Operations Police Headquarters, and Kainga Matthew as Commandant National Police Leadership Academy, Ngong. The changes notified within the Homeland Security agencies take effect immediately. Isufar reporting for Easy Friday.
Now, Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology JKUAT students took to the streets Friday to protest the mysterious death of their colleague Denzel Omondi, a third-year student who was among thousands of youth who took part in the Anti-Finance Bill 2024 on June 25th, 2024. He went missing for his body to be discovered floating at the Mashimoni quarry in Juja.
Transport was paralyzed along Thika Road for hours as students from the Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology held protests against the death of their colleague Denzel Omondi. The students stormed the Juja police station to demand justice for their fallen comrade.
Denzel was a son to somebody. Our father invested in him. A parent had hopes in him. Parents sold everything to bring the son in school, only to because that your son is dead, only to carry the son back home in a casket. Which Kenya are we? When will this stop?
Speaking to journalists, the students vowed to continue demonstrating and paralyzing learning at the school until Omondi's killers are brought to book.
A student cannot be killed, this way, and the state is not giving us, comprehensive information with gravity. We want to tell President Ruto to fire the IG, to change the security structure here, the DCI of future here. We are well informed abduction is against section, against Cap 63 of the Constitution of Kenya.
The demonstrations come amid an ongoing probe into alleged cases of abductions and forced disappearances. The Independent Policing Oversight Authority says it has been made aware of at least 10 cases of disappearances. IPOA is appealing to eyewitnesses who may have more information on the cases and any information regarding disappearances to come forward and assist in investigations. Kasi Chanamasha, Easy Friday.
Well, to another unsavory and quite disturbing news is that 6 bodies have been retrieved at the quarry dam site in Mukuru Kwanjenga slum in Nairobi County. The bodies, which were mutilated and some rotting, had been stashed in polythene sacks. And as John Cairo reports, the incident has sparked uproar from residents who demand that the government promptly unravels the murders.
The afternoon in Mukuru, Kwanjenga, residents were hit by a rude shock after the discovery of at least 6 bodies.
Kuna mmoja ndiye alikuwa ameonekana, alikuwa ameinua mguu juu. So wakaenda wakamtoa, lakini sasa kuangalia hii karatasi ilikuwa next tena wakapata ni miili zingine. So ikabidi pia nao watolewe.
The bodies, which were badly mutilated and others rotting, were wrapped in polythene bags and disposed at quarry dump site.
A good number of them are dismembered. And some are even decomposing, and you also have a body that was still oozing of blood, meaning that it was, the fatality happened fairly recently.
According to witnesses, some of the bodies had burns and seemingly killed elsewhere and dumped in the garbage site near Quarry police station.
Kuna watu wenye hadi wamekatakatwa, wako half bodies, unapata kuna mguu, intestines, unapata kuna mwili ya juu.
Mwili moja ndio tumepata ikiwa full, ingine tumepata hizi zingine ni nusu nusu. Pati ya chini unapata kichwa na hii body ya juu ni nusu na miguu ya huku ni nusu.
The residents have also expressed fears of more bodies as the dump site is expansive.
The police have already identified other sacks that possibly might be having bodies, so we are expecting them to come back for more.
5 of the bodies retrieved were female.
Kulingana venye tumewaangalia, hao si watu wamezeeka, hao ni wasichana wadogo. Kulingana venye tumewaona ni wasichana wadogo sana.
Police were forced to open fire to disperse crowds that had gathered around the station to protest the killings.
Let them tighten the security kwa sababu in Kwanjenga tumekuwa na issue ya security sana.
Ningeomba tu hapa gava enyewe hata kama wanaweza tuwekea tu fence hivi, shimo yote iwekwe hivi guard, ibaki tu pale kwa gate. Enyewe bado inaweza tusaidia sana.
In a press statement this evening, the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution has expressed concerns about the report on the gross violation of human rights, considering the dump site is situated few meters from a police station. The body is moved to city mortuary, pending identification, autopsy and further investigations. John Kahiro, Easy Friday.
You can imagine those who cannot trace their loved ones getting to know of this particular development, the anxiety before these bodies are actually identified. We thought that life was indeed priceless. It seems we are disregarding it as we go every waking day. May justice be indeed served. Now to the courts. The High Court has declared the Social Health Insurance Fund unconstitutional. While delivering their judgment, Justices Alfred Mabea, Robert Limo and Fueda Mugambi gave Parliament 120 days to amend the law establishing the fund. And as Ruth Wamboi reports, the court argued that the program had overburdened salaried individuals, thus creating a disparity in the contribution.
It is back to the drawing board for the government after the court annulled and voided the Social Health Insurance Fund barely 2 weeks after registration began. In its judgment, the three-judge bench led by Justice Alfred Mabea stated that there had been no public participation in the formulation of the new health program.
The entire Digital Health Act 2023 and the entire Primary Health Act 2023 are all unconstitutional for the reasons set out in this judgment.
The bench poked holes the haste in which the act was legislated.
The primary objective is to give effect to Article 43, 1A of the Constitution. There is evidence that the former legal framework, that is the NHIF, has failed to realize those rights. In any event, it is unsustainable.
The judges said the extent the two sections of SHIF have not made exceptions to the right to emergency medical services. The same cannot stand the test of constitutionality.
The current section was introduced ignoring a key principle under Article 201, which emphasizes on the need for openness, accountability and public participation in financial matters.
However, the court has given Parliament 120 days to amend the law establishing the fund.
We have also appreciated that the suspension may create a lacuna on matters held in this country, even as parties seek to comply with our judgment. It is for that reason that we are inclined to allow a temporary stay of the suspension for 45 days as requested. However, we hasten to add that the stay granted shall not affect the suspension of sections 26.5 and 27.4 of SHIF.
The decision comes after NHIF notified Kenyans of the impending SHIF rollout, which was set to begin on October 1st.
Pertaining to that universal health care. And therefore, the High Court has said, you National Assembly, you the Senate, revisit these, start from square A.
A petitioner, Joseph Aura, through lawyer Harrison Kinyanjui, had opposed the mandatory SHIF registration for accessing government services, citing its discrimination. With the court giving its judgment Friday, it has ordered the state to ensure that public participation is done in both the national language, that is English and Swahili. Ruth Wamboi reporting for Easy Friday from Milimani Locals.
So the interpretation, it basically means the rollout of the new SHIF is currently on hold for the next 4 months. Those are 120 days, and we'll be keeping tabs on that. Just is to confirm that I'm among those who received that particular message indicating that services under NHIF are going to be rendered under SHIF. So with that particular ruling this Friday, then that puts matters on hold for at least the next 4 months to also give room for public participation on that particular planned transition. Now, religious leaders under the umbrella of Fungamano Joint Forum of Religious Organizations have urged President William Ruto to appoint a leaner cabinet comprising of not more than 16 cabinet secretaries to reduce government spending. They have also recommended salary cuts of all state officers, including the president, the deputy president, the cabinet, members of parliament, governors and other elected leaders by at least 40%. This, they say, will help reduce the burden to taxpayers who foot the government expenditure.
After President William Ruto dismissed the entire cabinet, save from Prime Cabinet Secretary and CS of Foreign Affairs Musalia Mudavadi on Wednesday, religious leaders have recommended the recruitment of a leaner cabinet as part of austerity measures to reduce government expenditure.
Fungamano advised that Kenya did not need more than 16 ministries or 16 cabinet secretaries.
Under the umbrella of the Fungamano Joint Forum of Religious Organizations, the clergy further called for salary cuts of top government officials, including the president and deputy president, cabinet secretaries and principal secretaries, and all elected leaders, including governors and members of parliament, by at least 40%.
Kenyans should no longer sustain nor tolerate the exorbitant and selfish salaries and benefits paid to a small number of leaders and public servants, while the majority of Kenyans were languishing in abject poverty.
The public servants, the state officers who are actually employed by the taxpayer should be able to live within their means, but they should not live above their means to the extent of overtaxing.
The clergy also urging Kenyans to seize the moment and root for a review of the constitution to trim the size of parliament.
As the Gen Zs are emphasizing, we must look at the constitution. Is it still serving us the way we intended? What were those things that we needed to amend?
This as the Raila Odinga-led ODM party says it is ready for dialogue scheduled for next week.
We stand ready to support the country come up with measures that can restore lasting peace and stability and address the long-standing issues like unemployment, the unending search for justice and equality, fighting corruption, negative ethnicity in our national life.
ODM saying the talks must include a review of the country's national governance structure to reflect the face of Kenya. Elsewhere, Kiharu legislator Ndindi Nyoro has welcomed the present decision to sack the cabinet.
Sisi wote vile rais alifanya jana, sisi tunamwambia constitution ya Kenya imempea ruhusa. Yeye afanye kazi yote ile constitution imempea, akarabati nchi yetu ya Kenya, na sisi watu wote tuko nyuma yake kama rais wetu.
He spoke while launching the Kiangoshi Mshungusha irrigation water project in Kiharu, Murang'a County. Giverson Maina, Easy Friday.
With the dissolution of the cabinet, the principal secretaries are in charge of their various dockets. No vacuum. To the corridors of justice, a Kiambu court has freed former Kiambu MCA Mutonya Njenga after the prosecution dropped the charges of invading and destroying Kikuyu and NGCDF offices during the recent anti-finance bill demonstrations leveled against him. Meanwhile, former Kikuyu parliamentary aspirant Stephen Kigade has denied 3 counts relating to the anti-finance bill demonstrations and was freed on 100,000 shillings cash bail. Details of this and others in our Skills of Justice segment.
The dropping of the charges against the former Sigona Ward member of County Assembly Mutonya Njenga, who has been battling accusations of invading and destroying Kikuyu Constituency Development Fund offices during the recent anti-finance bill demonstrations, is a sigh of relief for him.
From the onset, they knew they did not have a case against me. But I am thankful that the courts today have found it fit to withdraw the case against me and to also return my cash bail. And I'm also grateful to the people of Sigona and to the people of Kikuyu and to all the friends who have supported me in kind and in prayers.
The Kiambu Court's Deputy Registrar Jacqueline Karani also ordered that Mutonya be refunded its cash bail and be given back his phone and other personal effects that DCI officers had been holding while conducting investigations. However, his defense counsel led by Mburu Gitia, senior counsel Gathi Irungu, and Wahome Thuku took issue with the manner the arrest was made, vowing to pursue more justice for their client.
The manner in which our client here was arrested does not comply at all with that Article 49. But having said that, we are saying there are many other people who have gone through this kind of a process. Others have even disappeared completely. You have seen they are nowhere to be traced.
Meanwhile, former Kikuyu parliamentary aspirant Stephen Kigathi has denied 3 counts relating to the anti-finance bill demonstrations and was freed on 100,000 shillings cash bail. Stephen Kigathi, who vied for the Kikuyu MP seat on a KANU ticket, was charged with destroying NGCDF offices, including that of the Deputy County Commissioner of Kikuyu.
We were wondering why they brought him to Kiambu, and we have a court in Kikuyu. But I think this is a way of pushing away people so that they don't know what is going on. But we have a way of telling the people that we know what is going on, and politically we will not be intimidated.
The case will be mentioned on the 25th of this month. Tilio Marco for Easy Friday.
Well, that takes us to our first break, but when we come back, on top of speaking matters business with my colleague Wairi Monjenga, who's already in studio, well, we're going to be looking at Nabongo Mumia and why they remain very iconic among the Wanga. Do keep it right here.
Unajua, token mita yako inahitaji system update. Ni rahisi na ni free. Ukipata ujumbe kutoka Kenya Power, yani SMS, weka kodi ya kwanza kureset, alafu weke kodi ya pili kuupdate ili token mita yako iendelee kufanya kazi kama kawaida. Update token mita yako. Ujumbe huu umeletwa kwako na Kenya Power and Lighting Company.
Differently. So today is a day to mark World Lupus Day.
We are looking for a way to create awareness.
Lupus exists. It is a rare autoimmune condition, but it does exist. We have so many patients suffering with this condition.
See, people are very quick to judge. When you see my child having a meltdown, you think they're just spoiled. When you see they can't talk, you think they're being rude.
As a Minister for Labour and Social Protection, I'm proud to share that our government is committed to supporting families with special needs children.
Because we're differently able.
I was thinking to go for an all-white gender reveal party.
Oh, well, Pitya can help you with that.
Hell no.
Have you been invited to the traditional wedding?
She can go and marry the Prince of Dubai and I still won't care.
I'm not moving back in with you.
Do you think I'd let you leave me for that mysterious man that keeps calling you?
Baba Felix!
I know my wife. You have to talk to Kristen. She's not thinking straight right now. And I can't afford to lose her.
Jack, you think this is a house that you can just walk in as you please? Ata huko wenyewe, sawa?
Join me on a journey as we unlock the secrets of a healthier and vibrant you. We'll also share real-life stories of courage and resilience. Plus, we provide practical health tips for living a healthy lifestyle, no matter what challenges you may face.
Welcome back. This is Easy Friday. I'm Regina, Manyara, and thank you for your socials. Those who are watching.
On KBC Channel 1, we are a TV station like no other. Get a taste of the best in entertainment.
Yes, indeed.
Feel the passion.
Will you promise me?
I swear that you will never lose me. I can't get married to you.
I'm sure you knew about it. That's why you're making fun of me.
Experience the drama.
Get out. Who's the man in this one?
And the laughter.
Hii wigi umevaa kichwani. Sile wakati tulikuwa tunaapishwa tunapewa mheshimiwa.
Move to the beat.
We are live from Broadcasting House.
And get informed on the latest happenings. KBC Channel 1.
Wow. Yeah!
We are the full package.
Oh, yes.
And Kenya's watching.
Thank you very much for joining us.
We sincerely apologize for that sound glitch there, but nonetheless, we proceed with Easy Friday, and we were just taking note of your feedback that we're receiving on our various socials, including one from Donholm, that is Tembe Mutembe, saying that he's watching Easy Friday, as well as Derek Mondi there, who is watching from Ngong Road there. You can be part of this conversation. Just also let us know where you're watching the program from, and we're sure going to sample that at the tail end. Now, bringing you back to what has been happening is that veteran journalist Mutegi Njau has been laid to rest in his home in Dangani area, Chuka, in Tharaka Nithi County, in a sober ceremony attended by leaders from the region. The veteran journalist has been eulogized as an astute scribe who stood for the truth and mentored many in journalism across the country.
Huwa naenda mazishi mingi ya watu wengine ambao sijui, lakini this particular one I want to confess that I know this man who is lying here in person. I knew him in person. I've interacted with him. He was my friend. Niseme Mutegi is one person who is interacted in all levels and with honesty. It does not matter who you are. Hata kama wewe ni ndugu yake, atakwambia ukweli.
Mutegi has been part of our lives, especially me when I was a very young girl, when I used to work at the airport. And he used to be a very good friend to my uncle Nkanya, Miriti Nkanya, if you can remember Nkanya. And they helped me grow up to be what I am today.
I can tell you Mutegi has impacted all those TV journalists you see, the best in this country. He has touched them, he has shaped them.
A lady and her daughter being ferried on a motorbike died on the spot after they were knocked down by a lorry at Itoloni area in Kangundo, Mwala Road on Thursday night. Both the motorbike and the lorry were headed towards Mwala. The Boda rider escaped unhurt. Details of this and other stories in our county news roundup.
Woman and her daughter were headed towards Kangundo High School in Machakos County, where her husband works as a teacher. The husband was traveling with them on a separate motorbike. The bodies of the two were taken to Pat Jude Funeral Home by police, while the lorry driver fled an angry mob that wanted to burn the vehicle.
Ile kitu imetokea this moment venye tunaongea imetushtua. Sababu mtu wa bodaboda anaendesha bodaboda, mtu wa roli anamfinyilia kwa mtaru, anaumia. Na shida, hiyo mtaru iko katikati ya rodi na hakuna action inachukuliwa. Tangu lini ama lini? Hiyo mtaru imekuwa hapa.
Meanwhile, in Nyeri County, the spouse of the Deputy President, Pastor Dorcas Rigathi, has called for prudent use of public resources for the economy to thrive. She was speaking during the launch of a substance use crisis response center at Karatina University.
I believe that we cannot achieve the vision of a great nation if Our most productive demographic component, the youth, are left behind.
Residents of Suna West constituency, Migori County, have protested against the poor state of roads in the area.
Tunataka barabara ilitengenezwe ili watoto wetu wapate kwenda shule na wamama wapate wakienda hosi ama wakienda biashara waende wafike salama.
In Kirinyaga County, residents have opposed the increased charges on water by the Water Resource and Management Authority, terming them punitive.
Mbeleni tulikuwa tunalipa 75 permit. Sasa wanatuambia tutalipa 50,000. Hapo ndipo tumesindwa, tukasema hatuwezi kulipa hiyo manji, hiyo pesa hiyo yote.
Elsewhere, youth in Western and Nyanza regions have been urged to utilize their talents as a way to make a living.
If you discover that you have a talent in music, you just exploit the talent, you run away with it, you commercialize it.
In Baringo, the county government is conducting a blood donation drive in schools in Tiati sub-county in a bid to mitigate the rise in cases of Kala-Azar, a disease that causes low blood in the body.
The reason why we are here today is to conduct a blood drive, which is going to help us, have enough blood supply so that as we are treating these people, as we are addressing the problem, we have the ammunition.
And in Kisumu, congestion at Lions High School has eased with the construction of 8 classrooms by the area Member of Parliament, Joshua Oron.
The classrooms we built here are much bigger classrooms, more than the traditional sizes of the classrooms.
It's a huge relief for us as the Lions fraternity, and I want to believe I speak for the students when I say it is going to help us a great deal, even in terms of service delivery to the students.
For Prime Edition, I'm Christine Matunda.
Now we change gears for about 5 to 7 minutes as we look at the day's business news. My name is Wairimu Jenga. Now, the International Monetary Fund appears to be softening its position on Kenya, with the fund now saying it will assess afresh Kenya's macro and micro environment. On Thursday, IMF announced that it will embark on assessing the current developments in Kenya, where it will include the assessment report in its ongoing program reviews with the Kenyan authorities. IMF is currently implementing a financial package with Kenya, where it plans to lend to the country a total of $131 billion by the year 2025.
In a statement, the IMF spokesperson Julie Kozak says the adjustments will be based on the evolving situation in Kenya, including the recent demonstrations that led to the withdrawal of the Finance Bill 2024 and the dissolution of the cabinet. The fund is also urging the Kenyan government to mobilize more revenues to meet the country's needs to address the decline in tax to GDP ratio. According to IMF, Kenya's tax to GDP ratio has been declining for almost a decade, since its peak of 15.4% in the 2014-2015 financial year. Over the same period, the public debt service to revenue ratio, an indicator of Kenya's capacity to repay its debt obligations, has increased markedly from about 35 to about 60% of revenues.
For Kenya specifically, the goal of our IMF-supported program is to help establish sound macroeconomic fundamentals. And these are crucial for fostering sustainable and inclusive growth in the country, crucial for generating jobs for the Kenyan people, including Kenya's young population. We are currently working with the authorities to ensure that these objectives can be met.
However, a statement shared by IMF spokesperson Julie Kozak assured of supporting Kenya's efforts to achieve inclusive and sustainable growth.
Our program also includes initiatives to improve governance and transparency, and to ensure responsible use of public funds, to safeguard social programs and social spending, particularly to protect the most vulnerable members of society.
IMF was set to disburse 131 billion shillings in new financing for Kenya at the end of its 7th multi-year program. Frederick Mwoki for Easy Friday.
Now, plans are underway to set up 100 electric vehicles charging stations across Kenya by the end of this year through a collaboration between Moja EV Kenya Limited and Kenya Power. The target is to have at least 400 electric vehicle charging stations by the end of 2026.
Setting up electric vehicle charging stations is expected to accelerate automotive green transition and the adoption of electric mobility. Some of the locations mapped for the electric vehicle charging stations include, among others, Garissa, Lamu, Malindi, Kilifi, Homa Bay, Migori, Bungoma, Webuye, Nyahururu, Embu and Nyeri.
Dealing with the elephant in the country right now. Because when you talk about EVs, there's only one question that comes up. Do you have enough charging stations? What happens if I want to charge my vehicle?
The investment in e-mobility infrastructure by firms such as NCBA that is setting up charging stations at its branches is being complemented by companies such as Moja EV Kenya Limited and Kenya Power. The target is to have 100 charging stations by the end of this year, then accelerate its establishment in coming years.
The only way we can do this if we have proper infrastructure where I can drive comfortably from here to Kisumu without being worried, where I can stop in Naivasha or I can stop in Mau Summit. As I take my lunch or as I buy viazi on the road, I can charge the car for 15 minutes, I'm on the way.
Individuals as well as passenger service vehicles are among the target for the new electric vehicle charging stations.
Nowadays, the taxi maintenance, the fuel prices and all, and the inflation and the living cost for the drivers is very high now. So there must be a app company to work as a savior for all the drivers so that they can make more money into this.
The future of electric cars is greater, considering that it's a comfortable car. No noises.
Alanaoko, Easy Friday.
The National Industrial Training Authority says it is planning more partnerships with local industries to sharpen learners' skill set. NITA Acting Director General Teresa Wasike says there is need to bridge the country's skill gap through enhancing learners' experiences by incorporating increased practical and on-field experience.
The National Industrial Training Authority trained and certified 55,987 workers in both the formal and informal sector. The authority says there is a huge skill set gap in the country and plans are underway to partner with industries to establish vacancies for industrial attachment to equip learners with relevant skill sets needed in the job market.
Apart from salaries, if you can be helped to develop your skill, to get more knowledge from your workplace, then you are on the right track in helping develop this country.
The regulator's acting Director General Teresa Wasike says the training will mainly target workers in the informal sector to enhance their skill sets.
We have now come up with the recognition of prior learning, where we do not look at what certificates do you have, what education do you have, but we look at the skill that you have so that we can be able to assess you and then give you a certificate that will help you.
The agency is urging companies in the manufacturing sector to offer training opportunities to learners to equip them with modern skill sets.
Changing market conditions and changing work environments, it's very important to upskill people, to give them the necessary skills to upgrade them and to remain competitive in the marketplace.
The government says it needs a steady supply of skilled labor to increase its manufacturing to 15% of the gross domestic product from the current 7.6%. Benson Rioba reporting for Easy Friday.
Kwa star 570 hash tunakupa nafasi ya kuchomoka na this brand new Mazda Demio. Enjoy a beautiful clean semi-leather interior, low mileage, touchscreen